Welcome to the SoulScape show with your host and intuitive multidimensional channel and soul healer, Gabrielle Spencer. You can find all SoulScape shows and free gifts from our special guests at soulscape.tv. This is season 5. We're thrilled to have with us Ambujam Rose. Ambujam is a Wayshower, a guide, a healer, and embodiment activator. She helps you understand and navigate your awakening quickly, let go of the ego self, and learn how to live from truth. Our topic for tonight is, what is this awakening thing anyway?
Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's wonderful to see you and have you here with us to join your energy for the SoulScape show and our very awesome guest, Ambujam Rose. Welcome, Ambujam. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, love. Hi, everybody.
I'm excited to see you, and so is everybody else. Look at that. Everyone is here bright and early and on time, and isn't that fabulous?
We're like, let's go.
Because we all need a good laugh, right?
Right.
Like Ambujam and I were texting each other before this, is like, oh my God, we want to talk about serious stuff, but like have fun with it.
But make it funny.
That's right. That's what I love about talking with you, is that we can do serious work, but we don't have to always be so serious.
That's right.
And that's what I love. So for those who are not that familiar with Ambujam, which I doubt highly, right? Everybody knows her. She is an amazing, enlightened being.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I'm saying,
okay.
You didn't say, okay, it's not written on this paper, and you all know anyway, I don't read off the paper. I make my husband print them out, and then I never read them because we always just zip along. Cover what needs. And I want to let the audience know you all are welcome to type in and in the chat box your questions and things, your comments and things that come up for you that you remember or that you wanted to ask, or that your own interpretation of what it is that we're talking about. Because what we all know is that as we move forward through this process, that we're all evolving
and figuring it out.
Say it again.
And figuring it out.
And figuring it out.
Because more keeps getting revealed, right? So you can't just be like, this is what it is, and then be done. It doesn't work like that, right?
Exactly. It does not work like that. And that's why at this point in time, it's really important for us all to share and to join our light together, because when we do, we're able to reach higher and higher vibration when we join in unity. And when we do that, we're able to access greater and greater levels of understanding, ancient knowledge, activations, and healings and clearings and things that are needed, that we don't have to know exactly what it is. We just have to be in a place of receivership. So with that said, my love, you are here tonight to talk about what is this awakening thing anyway. And I love this because, gosh, aren't there times we all go, what the heck anyway? So
Yep. So I thought, I was like, what do I want this show to be about? And I'm like, yep, that's a good topic. So I just thought we would just bring it like way down and get back to basics. Okay. And yes, our issues is complicated. Our stuff is complicated, but actually awakening is not. It's super simple what is happening. So I'm going to draw a little picture in a second to describe awakening. But why I feel like this is important now is because there's so many shifts happening all the time. And it's 5D this and 8D this and the thing on the thing with the thing on the thing. And it's just like, okay, yeah, but what does that mean? Really, right? Yes. Are we going from 3D to 5D to 7D? Yes. But how does that help us? How does that information help me on the ground as a human being, right? So I thought tonight we would just kind of slow it down, bring it down, because no matter how I see things, no matter what shifts are going on, every single time a shift happens, which is now 24 hours a day, it just keeps bringing our light up That's the foundation of it. So no matter what's going on, 5D, 8D, 9D, 37D, whatever we call it, Lionsgate, like we have all these words for it for English language, right? But for me, how I see it is foundationally, all these shifts and the higher frequencies that keep coming, what it foundationally is doing is turning on our light more and more and more and more and more and more and more. That's it. And everything that's not that's got to go or align or catch up, right? So I'm going to do my trusty little picture now. Okay.
I love
and
it.
why I'm doing this is because when I had my awakening, like, I don't know, 13 years ago, 14 years ago, something like that. Basically, I was shown this image in 2 seconds and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. So I want to share it with you guys because to me, it makes sense. So this orange color is source. Okay. And here's source in all its sourceness. Okay. Source decides, in order to experience myself, because if it just stays like this, it doesn't experience itself. It's like water saying, I want to be wet. Water's already wet, right?
Yes.
Or me saying, okay, I'm not going to give that example. So it has to have an experience of itself. So what it decides to do is take this form. Okay. And this is you. Okay. Can you see that? Okay. Or is it's too light? Huh?
Really? Yeah.
Hold on. Let me,
Is that like a gingerbread man?
it's a gingerbread man. Let me use a thicker part of this marker. And I think this will be better.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, good. All right. So source, you, source, you, source. It's the same thing. Okay. Underneath it all, this being knows its source, like not a problem. Okay. But now there's duality. Now there's two. Okay. This being has all kinds of choices of what it wants to experience. And source goes, okay, you want to experience not good enough? Okay. You want to experience love, self-hatred, good enough, you name it, the list is endless. This being wants to now have an experience as this in a form. Okay. So it starts to have, we'll say, emotions, physical feelings, because now it's in a physical world. It has relationships. Okay. It starts to have all these things. And over lifetimes, it has more and more and more and more and more and more. Okay. And it starts to pay, can you see it still?
Yes, we
It
can.
starts to pay more attention to the purple. Okay, the orange is like, it starts to like turn its attention away from itself and starts to pay attention to the purple. Then what happens is it starts to get identified. It goes, oh, I am purple. I don't remember this at all. I'm just purple. Oh, and now this being believes it's purple. Okay.
It becomes purple.
It becomes purple, but it never loses this. It can't. It's impossible, right?
Correct. Yes.
So I might be too close to the microphone, too loud. So,
no, good.
Okay. So after lifetime, we'll say like number, I don't know, 30. It's pretty identified with purple now. So it makes purple friends and it has purple thoughts and everything's purple. Okay. Then one day something happens, grace, let's say, in the heart of this being, all of a sudden there's a purple veil that just goes away. Okay. Because it's been seeing everything as purple, right?
Yes.
The veil in the heart just goes poof. And there's nothing but, this. Okay. It's very confused which is what we're going through, right? It's confusing because you thought you were purple the whole time and you 100% believed you were purple because that's
Right.
just what happened, right? And then awakening happens. And then the orange starts to, heal, clear, purify all the purple. Everything's got to go to return, back to its natural self. That takes, a long time, or
You
it's
probably
2
lose
seconds.
some weight in there too. I noticed the guy starting to shrink.
Lots of cookies and pie. Okay.
I love that analogy though. That's fantastic.
So everything has to purify for it to return back to its self. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of the purple exactly. You just have to know what it is because you can't help it. This will start realizing everything and go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And it could take lifetimes. It could take 5 minutes. It could take 50 years. We don't know how long it takes for this being to be totally filled. We could say with nothing, and just go back to complete, realizing it's this, but it's still in a form, right? So the purification process that we're in now, since we had our initial awakening, and initial awakening is when the orange comes through, the veil goes, that was like holding it back, let's say, or the veil that's like me, I, me. And then poof, and you're like, wait, what? And it takes about, in my experience and working with clients, the first 2 to 5 years of awakening is super confusing and challenging, and then after about 2 to 5 years, you kind of go, oh yeah, this is what's going on now. And I'm getting used to it.
I'm only laughing because I'm thinking I must have been on a really slow track.
Well, and that's what's interesting. You can't control this, right?
Yes.
You can't make it, because it's not like it's getting bigger, because it in and of itself is the size it's always been, right? But it feels like it's getting bigger because it's taking up, all the space, right? So you never know what this is going to do because it's completely arising out of the moment. It's like creation, right? And creation works in ways that's not mental, it's not planned. It's through experience that creation creates, and then it's through experience creation creates. So we can't control this. Like you said, you're in the slow track. Well, how do you know? Right? You don't.
Because dog years can, I mean,
So
when people, here's what I was thinking. Okay. So I want other people to share too, what you're thinking as Ambujam shared this. Great. Cause I think that's a fantastic analogy. I really like it a lot. I like too, the center high heart of light. And what came to me when you were talking about how when that opens, what happens is that if you start to put your focus on that light there, it ends up dissolving that purple. Just
right.
Because your focus is on the light and your connection with source. And then you don't have to be so concerned with every little nibble of this, that, and the other that's going on. You bring the light. And, even in our own family, we've recently gone through, when things just suddenly fall apart and you go, wow. And I had to sit back and say, when something needs to be reset, you can't control the reset. You have to allow the light
to do its thing,
the higher self, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be in charge of the reset. And the big test, I guess, it didn't really feel like a test, because to be honest, for me, I understood that I'm just sending light. That's my job. And it was funny, as I was telling my children this, and my oldest 16-year-old daughter, font of wisdom, she said, that's it. That's all you're going to do. I said, yes. And I'm going to tell you that whatever needs to happen will, and it will be for the best. And we moved through it very quickly. And that's the part that everybody needs to know, is that when we think it takes a long time, it's because I know other people like the word surrender. And if any of you know me at all, you know I don't like that word. I just allowed what needed to happen. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this process that we're all going through is there's nothing wrong with the purple at all. And the awakening isn't happening because there's something wrong with being covered in purple. It's happening because it's rightful. It's just time, it's evolution, right? And the healing, when we do healing, and this is like simplifying it as well. If you're the type of person that all you can do is sit in the truth of who you are and stay there, great. Should say, as you start sitting here and you've had a purple experience that was super traumatic or just really intense, or you still think you're that, the purple comes in and like pulls you out, pulls your awareness back into the purple. So where healing comes in is we heal, which AKA is realization. Like healing and realization is actually the same exact thing. Healing happens second, realization happens first. Like if you slow it all down. So within this experience, this being, for whatever reason, needs to realize something here because it keeps bringing it out of its experience of itself, right? In this way. So sometimes you got to release the thing or realize this or heal, let go, release, so you can bring your awareness there. Or you just stay there and this releases. Everybody's different. Like for me, when I'm doing healing on myself, there's times when I'm sitting in myself and stuff's coming up, but I just keep leaning back and 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 leaning back. And I just keep leaving. And then sometimes I'm leaning back and leaning back, but something is so something, because it's not because it's been there for too long. That's not why. It's an identity. Something needs to balance out or something needs to be understood or known here. And I know that because it won't leave me alone. I back up all I want. And yes, could I keep just backing up and backing up and backing up and backing up and that would go too? Yes. But for me, when something's stuck, I bring my presence to it, my awareness, and I'm like, what do you need? What's going on? Because I can't quite get past this, and that's how I know for me of when I need to put my awareness on something or when I just need to stay here. And it's so interesting when you talk about it because there's no law, there's no rhyme or reason. There's no like, this is how you do it. This is the only way you do healing, right? Because
that's right.
I'm going to give an example of.
Every situation is different. It's never the same.
Exactly. So I'm going to give like a couple examples. So, if you need to hammer a nail, you get a hammer, right? If you need to make a pie, you just need some flour. So you just need different things for different things, right? If you need to hammer a nail, apple is not going to help you in apple pie, right? So 2 examples of this is a client I worked with a super long time ago had some major abuse trauma. And as we would start to go into, the truth of who she was, that trauma was so intense that it, she kept bumping up against it. And so we had to look at it and understand it and do healing on it so she could have space enough to be with it because it was too much, right? To a whole other client I was working with a long time ago, all they wanted to do is just be in the space. And stuff would come up, but they could just be in the space. So we supported that. So it's so specific. And as we even go on our journeys, we change, right? Of what we were once like super scared of or identified with, we're not all of a sudden. And so there is no law, how I see it, of like, it's got to be this way and this is the only way. It's just like, well, what do you need? Where are you at today? And I have to throw this wrench in the plan now because I have to. So, I really don't want to, but I have to.
Well, I can't wait to hear it now.
So I've been seeing God for a really long time. God's come in, he talks to people. He's like, you know, part of what makes us who we are, source, God is like literally creating us out of light. And we're in this form. But in 2020, what I was starting to see was past that, and how God isn't all there is. There's creation, let's call it. I don't have another word. God arises out of creation. We arise out of God and creation. And so it just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going, you know, because what are we really, right? Really, really, really. And it's just an interesting inquiry of what am I really? Now, here's the other little interesting thing. And this is more about how to heal yourself, okay? If you are creation itself, which made yourself, and you're being a somebody, okay? But you made you, okay? We'll say the great awareness of you made you as a person with all of your little things, right? If you're dealing with an issue, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, situational, and you go back deep enough to why would I even create this? I wonder, what is it I was wanting to experience at that time? And the deeper you go back, we'll say to creation itself, find yourself. Like, where did I even, as a magnificent, limitless being, why would I create this experience I'm having right now? And do I need to still create it? So it's a very deep journey to go on, of you just keep going and going within yourself of where is it in me did I create this? Because that's how I see it. We're all creators. And right now we're in this human experience, in this human body. So we forget our magnificent, crazy, unlimited, creative self. And there's, like, we could say the spectrum of awakening. If here's initial awakening and here's, you know, we'll say God realization, right? And we're like here as a whole group of us, let's say, right? It's like, we're still in this, I got to empower myself stage, right? Because that ain't it. That's not it, right? So it's like, you know, we're coming out of this whole disempowerment, giving our power away. And we're like still working on this part, right? Of how do we really empower ourselves? How do I know that I'm enough? How do I know that I've got this and I rock this? And it's taking, you know, as you know, it's quite a while to unravel just lifetimes of giving our power away, right? That's the theme. It's still our theme, right? But as we move past that, let's say, because it's a stage we have to go through, or else we wouldn't be going through it. We would have bypassed it, let's say, right? But we're going through this part of how do I empower myself? Then you pass that, let's say, whenever that's ready, and you keep going on the spectrum of awakening past, we could say, God realization into I am creation itself. So it's available to us now. It just is. And our minds can't figure that out. Like, I'm going to go find creation now, because that, you know, that doesn't work. But I'm saying this because I have to. A, B, it's helpful to know that you are 100% responsible for your experiences. Whether you like that or don't like it, it's just what's true. Our side of things. We can't be responsible for, as another person, what that person does, to a degree, because we can find it in ourselves and change it, because I've seen that, okay? But it's more of, because again, that's the complicatedness, we could say, or the nitty gritty. I'm talking more about my ways of being and my physical stuff I go through, and my dynamics with people are all mine. They're all mine. They're all mine. My feelings are my feelings. My feelings are my feelings. Even if somebody does something to me and I have a feeling, it's still my feeling. Nobody's holding me down being like, feel this way, right?
Right.
So the more we take deep self-responsibility of everything I'm experiencing is actually on me, And we go back to the drawing board of where in me did I create this experience and what do I need to do to complete it? It becomes a very different healing, journey. And the more like 2020, 2021, the more we go in linear time, the higher and higher the frequencies are on Earth, which then helps our human experience be able to go. Because 3D, as you guys know, is pretty freaking dense, right? We like bump up against 3D energy all the time. But the more and more higher vibrations come to this planet, the less we bump up against that contraction or density, right? And the more we're actually able to, because the energy is out there, supporting us to go in here to find, where did I even create this in the first place, I wonder? And what do I need to do? What was my opportunity? What was I to learn? There's thousands of questions you can ask yourself, right? But we have the opportunity now energetically on this planet to go that deep, easier. It's like lubed up for us.
Yes,
where, right, 20 years ago, it wasn't so lubed up. We were kind of all on our own in a way. There was a few of us sprinkled around the planet, right? We're like, this is so hard.
Whenever I think about 20 years ago, I mean, Reiki was the big thing.
Right.
Like, that's what we were all doing. Like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Right. I will say though, that in this conversation that I had with my daughter, she said, when we were talking about this, bringing light into a situation or to assist a person, she's like, well, what is that going to do? And I said, the light is source light knows exactly what needs to be done. It's not for us to know, it doesn't matter. All we need is to be the conduit of light to assist whatever the situation is. And I feel like that works even for what I or we need to learn, what as a family need to learn, and to assist everything. But it was just fascinating, but it reminded me of Reiki, which was interesting. And I got to thinking, I'm a Reiki master teacher. Never talk about it, right? We never talk about it because that was like a long time ago. But I thought, I should probably induct my children and open up all of that for them and just help them move along. And it just reminded me of what you're talking about, because you're going to the origin.
The origin. That's a really good word.
You're going to origin, and that's what we all are doing. And it doesn't exactly matter how we get there, but that you experience it. And when you do, it's just so much easier. Life is easier, and you move through things in this density a lot faster. I always see it in my head as surfing. I want to surf. I want to get on the divine flow wave of energy and just surf through things versus, getting bogged down for a really long time in the purple aspect of what the 3D is. Because to me, that purple piece, 3D is purple. It's all emotion based. It's heavy. It's complex. You've got, all these emotions overlapping one another. So you're not even sure which string to pull. Or I always think of Jenga, of course, which log are we pulling out? And so we get caught up in, even that analysis, right? Like you're saying, you don't have to know. You're holding the light, and the light will assist you.
And the other part of the awake self, we'll say that orange right in the middle, or the no self, right? Source, creation itself. Is it, and these are words, okay, but there's a truth to what I'm saying. So it has to be really felt in your body, in your awareness. It doesn't see anything as a problem. And so, because it created it for a reason. And so when we can practice as a human, the purple, the issues, the physical stuff, because a problem contracts it and we want to fix it, get rid of it. And that is suffering too, so now you got the thing and then you've got you all messed up, right? Yeah, I got to get rid of it. So the true self, I'll say, is able, I don't want to say is able because it's just what it does, but their words. So the true self is able to be an invitation and a yes with everything all the time. It's always yes. Not a yes and I'm dishonoring myself, even though my heart says no, I'll say yes. That's not what I'm saying. It's this larger yes, like this larger invitation. You know, Spirit shows me this image of a slow moving lake or little river, and there are leaves floating. The river doesn't stop and say, problem, get out. You know, it's with it. And the lake just keeps going. And all of these things that I'm talking about is how the true self just lives its life. But we still have this mind that tries to understand and put a concept to just being a yes and being an invitation. You know, it's like the sun doesn't say to the clouds, go away, you suck. I want to get rid of you. You are a problem to me. And so the more we could say the human can practice the attributes of the true self, which is when we come up to our purple or we come up to an issue, we go, oh yeah, it's not actually a problem. It's nothing bad, even though it could feel bad, right? And even that feeling bad isn't a problem. So it's like this kind of wider, relaxed, like, I'm going to meet this, or I'm going to be present with this. I'm going to be like the sun and the clouds. And just that true, like when you can truly drop into this allowing, like this fluid place, and you're actually allowing the very thing that you're trying to get rid of, something magical happens to the thing, because it's no longer in this constricted place. It actually like relaxes in this really expansive place. And that in and of itself brings, we could say, healing and release. So I feel like I actually need to do a healing right now. We got to do something, because okay. So I guess this would be a good time to say this now, because what we have to do now in the group. So tomorrow I'm doing a group power healing, which is my thing, on the physical body. There's aspects of the physical body that are ready to make their dimensional shift inside. And Spirit shows me this image for this healing tomorrow of these like lines and sections in the body that are holding older, denser consciousness. And that these lines of energy are ready to like realize themselves and make the move, like shift over into their next higher levels for you, because it's very specific for you. And so right now, we need to do a healing connected to this physical shift that Spirit is doing tomorrow for people, you know, so come on if you want to come in, if it feels right for you. And I'll talk about the logistics of that later. But we need to do, so there's two things we have to do right now as a group. Okay. We need to help the density in your body move, so you can just embody your creation self, let's call it easier. And on top of that physicality, that's like this dense thing that just wants to move and just go, there's a consciousness that is of resistance in the system. And it's a survival resistance. It wants to hang on because that's what the ego does. And the ego isn't really the purple, okay? And there's a distinction, right?
Yes.
The ego, which is the sense of I'm separate, I'm a me that's completely alone in this world, and I have to take care of myself, and everything's about me, 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 me. It's just like kind of like a narcissistic energy. It's very specific, okay? That energy is fighting for its life after awakening. It fights for its life 24/7. It does not want to let go. And who can blame it? Who can blame it? It's like us saying to you, hey, we're going to kill you off now. Of course you're going to hang on and go, oh, I'm not going. No, right? Fear comes. So the egoic consciousness in the system, which gives us an identity, which is different than the purple, okay? So from a place of I'm separate and I'm suffering because I feel abandoned and I'm like this identity, let's say, that identity in the system is holding on. So there's this image of the physical thing that we need to move, okay? But on top of the physical thing is this, like this web kind of looks like of egoic consciousness that's like, nope, not letting go, not letting go, not letting go. And so we have to do both of these things at once. That's what we have to do as a group right now. So we're going to do a little mini group power session right now. We're just going to like move that thing. And how we move that thing is this. Okay, this is how group power sessions work. I'm calling it your super consciousness because I don't know what else to call it. Okay. You have a super consciousness in your system, which is your awareness, your true self. Okay. It has the ability, okay, not the mind and not the emotions, right? Because it doesn't have to go through any of that. Your awareness has the ability to realize the roots of issues, soul history, choices, dynamics, you name it. It's able to bring its consciousness to something, realize the root of what it needs to complete and lets it go. Boom, in 2 seconds. It's just what you can do. Group power session works with that directly. Like we partner with the truth of who you are. And it's this quick realization of things. We're able to accelerate your own acceleration. Okay. So when I say we're going to release this thing, what I'm actually saying is your super consciousness is going to realize why this is holding on, and it's going to move it. So we can do that. That's just because what we can do. That's just part of my gifts is this deep sanctity in me connects to your sanctity, and we get granted this like quick movement because we can. We just can. So that's actually what's going to happen. So we're going to move stuff quickly, but what's actually going on, if you put a magnifying glass up to it, is your super consciousness is realizing why your ego is holding on and what it needs to do to let that go. It's going to realize whatever this physical thing and go, all right. And then boom, there you are. Okay. So once we start doing this process, I'll get the information that comes out of these things just to share with you. Now, this is coming with some fine print, okay? Because you guys are ready, because of the energy that we're working with tonight, because of all of these depths that we're about to do with your awakening and with the ego that's holding on, I have to say, once we do what we're about to do, you will never be the same. I just have to say that. So the mind might not know what that means. The mind will go, oh, cool, I'll be a this or that. Like immediately it starts all kinds of the computer running, right? But from if we go back to this, from this situation, okay, something's going to shift where self-realization is going to push through more. And that's what I mean. You'll never be the same after what we're about to do, but it's a self-realization thing. It's not like you may feel different mentally and emotionally, but it's deeper than that. It's the truth of you is going to come out more, and that won't go away. It doesn't change. It doesn't go back. So that's what we're saying. You won't be the same after this, because the amount of truth that's going to come forward for you within you, that just won't go away. It'll just be like this forever. Okay. So with that said, do I have your permission? Your heart will tell me, right? Your heart of hearts, to release this physical holding and this egoic holding. Okay. So what we're doing now is we're gathering everyone to do this in our group energy. You guys are funny. You're like, oh yeah, that thing. Can you get rid of that and then that and that and that? Oh, and this. And I'm like, I don't know. I guess we'll see. It's not up to me, right? It's up to grace and readiness and timing and the sanctity of you, Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is this physical piece. And it's very deep in your body of where there's a holding of old energy of not to go forward because the red alerts are on, danger, danger, says the ego, don't go forward. Okay. Of course it would say that. So we're moving now, whatever that's holding. And what's going on is just more realization or more truth that's there now that goes, oh, I don't have to hold. Why would I hold on? Why would I ever stop from going forward? Like, that makes no sense to me. Of course, I'm just going to keep evolving and creating. Okay. And for whatever reason, this physical piece that we're moving, how it looks to me is it's in, it's like this cavernous image of your rib cage. And we're going really deep down through there and like pulling out all of this physical holding. And so that's what we're doing now. We're just going deep, 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 just back, releasing the rib cage area. And it's just been holding there. And yep. And so the truth of you is allowing or working with that which it needs to realize about itself so it can let go of whatever is, you know, no longer needed. So I feel like this release that's going on right now, this physical holding, is going to continue after we hang up this call today, because it's really far back. It just keeps going and going and going and going. It's almost like a detection thing that's going, okay, where is it, and where's more, and where's more, and where's more, and it just keeps going through and going through and going through. It's just not done until the consciousness within you finds the spots that it feels like is complete for now, we could say, of this release. But I feel like it's just going to go and go and go and go and go and go and go for a while. Okay. And again, what we're releasing is older, denser you consciousness. So it's ego, identity, and purple. We could say the identity with purple. Let me put it that way. Because there's nothing wrong with purple, but it's your identity with it that breaks, right? Like, I'm the purple. No, purple's still here, but I'm not purple. I'm this, right? Purple's here, but I'm this, right? So now this ego thing that's been hanging on in your body, it's very physical, this whole theme, I could say, this week. And I feel like whatever we're working with right now, the energies of Halloween are working with us too. There's just something about that date that's coming that's got some sort of juice. Last Halloween was like that too. I remember right now, I was writing an email about it. We did a group around that. But yeah, there's this Halloween that's coming up. There's just a lot of movement that's building and building and building. So it can just go poof. So something again will pop, you know? Okay. So I found the ego part that's holding on, and it wants to, it's like, hey, you want a cookie? Hey, can I give you this? Like, it's trying to distract me from all my favorite things. It wants to give me all my favorite things. It's very funny. So I just have to let it kind of do its little tantrum right now. You know, it's vying for its life. It's like trying to bargain with me. Hey, if I give you this, will you let me stay? I can stay, right? And I'm like, nope. Sorry there, little dude. It's inevitable. It's either now or later. So it goes, oh, you're the nice lady. You help me know there's nothing wrong with me so I can just let go. I'm like, yep, we do it through love. Exactly. It's funny. Oh, you're the nice lady. All right. So whatever this piece is in you guys, this ego thing is getting ready to pack its bags, let's say, and go back to source. And it has to do just a little tap dance and have its kind of podium day in the sun because it needs attention, because of course that's what it is. But it wants to go, look how good I am. I'm leaving. It's funny. All right. So you guys ready? So this ego thing is going to go now. Yep. Good. So this release will be happening now for a while in the system. Just more truth coming out. Just releasing the old self, the old density, because it's time. Again, not because it's a problem. It's because it's time to wake up now and be the truth of who we are. So the election is coming, as we know. And whatever we're doing right now with this release is rippling out to that. Love, awareness, light, truth. It's like just rippling outward. And I know the debates tonight too, I think like right now. So that's just interesting. Yeah. So with what you guys are doing, and you're not trying to, It's just what your beings are doing. There's just this whole group right now is just emanating or rippling out. It's more like this rippling of truth, awareness. Like, it's like a teaching. Like, you guys are rippling out. Look within oneself and take responsibility and make the change. Because that's what's going to change this world. It's not a politician. It's awakening, right? Foundationally, what's going to change this world is everyone to wake the F up, period. And then there's that whole process of awakening, right? Like we're all going through. So this group specifically that we're working with right now, it's like there's this desire, but it's not agenda, and it's not mental, and it's not emotional, but there's this desire of how you all change out there is you have to have the desire to inquire. You have to want to ask the question inside. You have to want to go within and say, wait, my life isn't working. Why? So it's like, there's just this kind of teaching going out right now, like a mirror, like, hey, you just got to want to look within, you know? Yep. That's sissy stuff, right? As we'd say in the 80s, you got to be that sissy, because awakening, the idea of surrender or allowing, a long time ago, and still is, it's seen as you're being a wuss. Hold on. Push doors that won't open, right? And so in the world, there's,
I've grown up a lot since then.
Well, you have to, right? Awakening like makes you. And so that mentality is still out there in the world, right? Of like, you don't go within, and it's not as dense as it was, what I'm seeing now. There's more kind of like, COVID really opened people's eyes to going within, and maybe it's not such a bad thing, and maybe it's not such a wuss thing to do, is ask and look and surrender and go, right? So your teams now, all of you, they're taking what we're doing now, and they're going to take it and continue to work with it, and then I'm going to complete my side of it. So we're just doing that now. So what your teams are showing me, because of what we're working on resistance of change and resistance of awakening, of letting go, because the ego doesn't want to, right? It wants to survive, just like we want to survive. It's a survival thing, right? Your teams are saying, because we're working on that depth of the need to survive from an ego's perspective, the resistance that one can feel within over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 days, you might feel that come and go. Oh, I feel resistance to something. Just be present with it. It's the clouds in the sky. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it, right? So you don't have to fix your resistance. Just allow it to move, okay? Yep, so I'm completing with all you guys now from this group perspective session we're doing. And yep, some of you guys are like, see you tomorrow. I'm like, see you tomorrow. Yeah, so if you guys want to join the group power session tomorrow, it's 45 minutes at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can just go to my site, embodymhealing.com, and you'll see join next group power session, or you can join my email list tonight, and then you'll get the invite in the morning.
Ambujam.com. Is that what you said?
Ambujamhealing.com, yeah. Ambujamhealing.com. And you'll see the join next group power session with tomorrow's date on there. And we'll just do more of this physical, because, it's interesting. Our bodies hold things differently. So our emotional self holds things differently, and our mental self holds things differently. And then the physical body has a habit, we'll say, of just holding denser energy. And so with all these changes that are happening in 2020, all of our bodies are literally shifting its molecules to be the truth, to be the light of who we are. Like literally it's like our whole bodies are changing into light. Will we still have a human body? Yes. Right. But it's the consciousness held within this body that is changing its consciousness into the true self, into light. So the physical body holds consciousness, and it's the consciousness within the physical body that's ready now in the way it's ready. So yeah. So do you guys want to write in how you feel, or should we be asking questions now? What you want to do, Miss G?
Well, we have some hands up, so let's go check it out.
Okay. You look beautiful, by the way, in your
My darling.
in your white
mock
thing.
turtleneck. Because, you know, we really don't wear turtlenecks in Florida. But, you know, I'm a northern East Coast girl, and I love turtlenecs. And I was so excited that we're like pretending to be in turtleneck season. So I have to have fun. So while I'm trying to figure out how to get to the hands, people, I wanted to say while you were talking that I call it your mind is the master illusionist, because we perceive things not just what the shift is that we're shifting. So we perceive things through this high heart area. But what happens is the mind perceives it through its own mastery of illusion. And then it relates it to emotion and memory and to all those other things that we have that are within our subconscious and that the mind has access to. So you have all those filters that make up the master illusion of the mind.
Yep.
So when you move into that high heart piece, that's when all of that just dissolves, because you're able to instantly spot when it's doing it. See, when it's a master of illusion, it's because you don't actually notice the shift that your mind just laid over all these overlays, and you're not able to see through them. Okay. But when you move more into your heart and your focus is on the light, and even when something's happening in the moment and you just fill it with light, and that's all you're doing, you're not looking for an outcome or a solution or an answer, that then it kind of burns off that extra emotional layer, and you're able to more clearly find your way through it, or for it to be resolved in a higher vibrational way than reacting. Okay.
My mail is showing up all of a sudden. Oh, good. I got rid of it. Okay.
Okay. So I don't know why I can't get my. Everybody knows I'm just lovely at computer stuff, so forgive me. And I keep clicking my attendees thing and I can't find it. I mean, I have my hands. Do you see the hands up there?
Nope.
You're a co-panelist. You can't see them?
Let me see if I can. So I can see attendees and I can see the hands.
Yes. Can you click on the hands? For some reason, it's not letting me click them.
Let me see. So I'm going to go to last four numbers is 1914. So I'm going to click on the hand and see what happens.
Moving. How funny. Okay. Yes. 1914. Are they unmuted? Allowed to talk. You have to unmute yourself. Okay. If you can't unmute yourself, then we're going to move to the next one. Nope, they're still muted. Okay, we're going to go to Shelly Reynolds. Shelly, are you there? Can you unmute yourself?
I am here.
Hi.
Hi.
How can we help you, Shelly?
Well, I don't know. I just thought I'd raise my hand and see if I got called on. I just want help removing blocks, because I am the type that will hide in the shadows, and I want to start a healing business. Ambujam, you've met me a couple times in Pocatello and in Salt Lake. I don't expect you to remember me, but you gave me some really good, very good reading, and said that I was going to be able to help many people, and that's what I want. And I'm trying to, I am moving forward with helping people. It's my
All right.
it's my calling.
So I'm gonna, when you're talking about blocks,
Yes.
what I see right now is you have this whole overlay of an energy that's not even you. And it makes you feel down, downtrodden, heavy,
Yes.
hopeless.
Yes.
Okay. This has been here for eons, but as you wake up more and more, these freaky deaky things are seen because these things are very real, you know? So how these weird energies get into us is because they're sticking to, yep. So I'm already watching you with your awareness go, oh, I'm like, yeah, that old raincoat kind of thing. Yes.
Yes.
And we'll work with it in a second, but, how outside energy gets in, how manipulation gets in, how power and control gets in, how whenever you're just even hanging out with somebody these days, I don't know if we can, right? But when you're hanging out with somebody, you go home and you're like, ugh, what? I got shit in my space, right? Stuff. Why that's happening is because it's sticking to wounding. It's sticking to unhealed, unresolved, unconscious stuff. Okay. It's just how it works. So how we heal something that's sticking to us is we ask ourselves, what in me is this sticking to? Okay. I wonder how this thing got in even in the first place. And it's always going to bring you to something that you weren't conscious of. Because the thing itself isn't unconscious, let's say. We're just not conscious of it. Because otherwise, why would we let some weird googly thing come in our bodies, right? Let's say.
Right.
We'd be like, yeah, no thanks, right?
Right.
But the wounding in us allows it, right? So I see now that I've pointed out this thing to you. You've got like 30% of it gone already. Okay. So I'm going to go to what's left. And it's very touching in a way because you want to help people so badly. Like, yes, emotionally, but there's this thing in you that's like, oh my God, this will make me the most happiest ever and fulfilled if I can do this. If I can do this in the way that I know that I can. Okay. The truth of you from a true place deeply desires to do that. Yes. Do you have emotional desires to do that? Of course, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this deep desire. Okay. The opposite of that, which is no, I'm afraid, like you said, I'll hide. I'm more comfortable hiding than I am being in front. Okay. Simply put, that's how this thing got in a long time ago. And this conflict you've had of yes, no, let's say.
Yes.
I do, no, I don't. Okay. This is very precious because this is for you. Once we release this thing, I would say your homework is to go within yourself and go, okay, where in me am I still saying no to? Because I've got one foot on the brake, one foot on the gas. That's just like what it is. So when we wake up, what we're foundationally dealing with is all our past choices that don't want to do X, Y, and Z. And presently we're like, yeah, I want to. But it's like us against all of these parts of us, right?
Right.
So we gotta go find out what's going on. Like, hey, yo, where in me am I still saying no? Because the precious part for you, that's why I feel like this, it's so touching. The deep desire to do your thing is as deep as it is to hide and not do it.
Oh, that's so true.
Because you're so scared.
Yes.
Right. But the scared it's not fear. It's like, I'm so scared that this is going to be so good. I'm so scared. I can't even take it. Right. It's that kind of like trepidation, like, oh my God, I want this more than anything, but oh my God, no. Right. That's why it's like very touching because this part is so scared. Okay. So you foundationally will say there are two of you. There's the one that wants to presently, and then there's the past that doesn't. This deep part, right? The deep part then created all kinds of situations and stuff. But you can just beeline, not to the stuff, but you can beeline to why I wonder, why do I have such this like Jekyll and Hyde? I have a yes, no. What's the no? I wonder. Why? And it's like out of curiosity, and almost joy of like finding out why, you know, because it's yourself, right? There's nothing wrong with this part that doesn't want to, but it's now not working because you want to, right? It's not working anymore. So it's a very deep self-inquiry and embracing of, I wonder what's up with this deep, deep, deep scaredness. Okay. So it's like gently going there. Okay. But that's how this energy got in. And even us just talking about it now, it's already like 70% gone, let's say. It keeps just going. And as you know, and a lot of us know, being miserable and grief-stricken and heavy and depressed has been our MO for a long time. It's been comfy. And presently we're like, I want joy, man. I want to be happy. I want to be free. I want to be healthy. I want to thrive. And then we get all this history that goes, no, I don't want to, right? And we're like, you know. Yep. So I need your permission now to release the rest of this thing.
You have my permission.
Yeah. And it's like the part that wants to hold on to that last little bit. It's just comfy. It likes misery. It's comfy, you know? Yep. So there's just a little bit left now, and just keep doing exactly what you're doing. Inquire. Why would I still want to hang on to this? I wonder. Yes, it's comfy. Yes, misery is comfy, right? Yep. So what we're going to do now, and because we're in this group energy, Shelly needs to move forward. Okay. We have to leap you forward to help you because you're just ready to go. And that's going to help you with all the stuff we're talking about. Okay. And as a group, every single person is ready to leap forward in their own way. And when I say leap forward, this is what it looks like to me. Okay. There's like this threshold that opens, and this is part of our group stuff that we do together, the group power sessions. There's always in every group a threshold of consciousness that opens, and you leap through it in 2 seconds and you're in a new place. And that threshold is layers and layers and layers and layers of consciousness because we're working with your true self and the deep desire to be free, let's say, that runs everything, we leap you through now. It's just what we can do together. So you're ready to leap, and everyone here is ready to leap in the ways you guys are going to leap through. So we're just going to do one big whoosh, through the doorway for everyone. Okay. So Gabrielle, guess what? You too.
What am I doing?
You're going to be leaped forward. And we have to say it out loud because of what you've got going on with your life. Spirit wants to just push you forward, which will change all of that.
Great.
You want to think about it?
No, I have learned.
No, I'm joking.
You got to trust it. I'll tell you what, I was saying this recently that, it's fascinating because I'm such a thinker, and everyone who knows me knows this. That's probably been my biggest Achilles heel, right? Is to be able to just allow and to allow the divine flow and energy. And so, I had to learn the hard way to let go and just let it be what it is. And that has brought me through so much. But I'm grateful for all the shifting. And I love group power work because you do get to shift ahead. I call it jumping ahead too, actually. I like to jump ahead. Everybody knows I like to cheat. To get as fast as I can. Whew, let's move forward. So I have no negative energy with cheating. Just want y'all to know. Just want to move forward and get there as, honestly, as quickly as possible. So thank you.
All right. So let's do it, you guys. So everyone's at their spot, getting ready now. And there's some of you, I'm watching you cry because it's like, it's moving to be like, bye. I'm ready. Right? It's moving at times. And other times it's like, yeah, whatever, I'm done. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Right. All right. So we're going to do it now. So everyone's going to your next spots, whatever that is. So Shelly, you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
And we always shut the door. And I don't try to shut the door. It's timing. So when you guys get leaped forward like this, there's this spot where Spirit's like, we got to shut the door now because you're not there anymore. And this is your new spot. This is where you are. So, yep, Spirit's going to shut the door now from where all you came, from whence you came. Goody. So you guys are all going forward now.
Yay.
It's just going to take a little bit now because everybody's on the move. This is where I wish I could like put probes in my head and like project exactly what I'm seeing.
Isn't that the truth? I say that all the time.
Then you just point. See that? There.
It's so much going on.
We're shutting. The door is shutting. It's like 90% shut. But Spirit's sending me back to what's behind the door, the past, so I can do completion as proxy for you. We're doing ceremony. We're thanking it, from the truth, not like, it's not this mental thanking. It's like you had every reason to exist in the exact ways you did. And there's blessings and sacredness, and it's also time to move on. So I have to say this because this is what's coming up for everybody. Wishes can come true. You have to be in that energy again. And I know it's scary because it means you're putting all your chips in to your wishes with the feeling of, what if I get disappointed again? Right? But that playful, inspired joy of wishes can come true. They can is the energy you need to be in. Okay. We can't control what wish, when, and how. Okay. Because that's not up to us. But we have to be in that place of like pure play. Yeah. Because that's part of what makes you healthy, happy, whole, is that playful, inspired, even if you feel poopy. That playful wish feeling fulfillment is just part of your natural, attribute of play. And I know it's very vulnerable to wish again, to put yourself that open and that vulnerable, to be like, oh my God, I'm totally putting what I want in my heart out there. And even though I have all these past lives of disappointment, betrayal, abandonment, fear, trauma, even this life, childhood stuff, whatever it is, wishes can come true. They can. Like for real. Okay. Super excited, childlike. Okay. It's so helpful when you do that, because life, it just wants to partner with you there. So as you guys are all moving forward, that's one of the things I'm just seeing to tell you of practice getting back into that kind of high excitement. Okay. Like I want to say fake it till you make it kind of thing, just practice. Like when my gifts first opened in San Francisco 25 years ago, and Spirit was teaching me, every single thing that you see has happened from within you. So if you want something different, you have to choose within. And I'd go, okay. And I quit waitressing, and I was just doing my thing, and I had no money, and all my bills were due, and I had like 3 clients and no money. And I was like, oh yeah, Spirit told me that everything comes from within me. So I'm going to be like, I have all the money I need and so much more. I have all the money I need and so much more. And I would get myself super psyched. And the first time I ever did that, within that first week, I had my grandmother send me a check for like $250. She's like, just thought you might need this. DMV, which is the registration in Massachusetts, whatever you call it, registration of motor vehicles, they sent me a check for like, I don't even know I can't remember how much, $800, saying, hey, we owe you this from like 1980 something. And I'm like, what? And then my mom calls me and she goes, hey, do you remember so-and-so? And I'm like, my gym teacher from like 7th grade? She's like, yeah, she was in Dad's office, because my dad was a lawyer. She was in Dad's office today saying that she found your name in some bank in the newspaper. And she told dad that you've got some unfound money. So here's like another $800. And I was like, I have everything I need. I've got rent. And, it doesn't happen like that for me anymore because I really needed to know this shit worked. Sorry, can I swear? Probably not. I really need to know.
Of course you can.
This stuff worked. So it doesn't happen exactly like that anymore. I don't need it to happen like that anymore.
I was going to say, I was going to add to your story that, yes, in the beginning, I totally agree. You have to prove it to yourself. But actually now I'm going to bet you will agree that you don't actually think about money anymore. It's not separate from you. And creation of what you need is just part of, I don't know, it just comes. That's the difference from before.
Well, for money, for me, I do still think about it for me, but it's more like I feel in my heart that I should have way more. And so I go, okay, what do I need to do to receive that? But yes, and life's just happening for me now. Like I'm not trying. I mean, I do try every day. I sit up, I wake up in the morning, have my coffee, and I go in my heart every day. I'm just like, what is it I need to know, do, or be today? What's my guidance today?
Right there's the key though, because you didn't start with what do I need to do to make money today? That's what I mean. I don't think about how I'm going to make money. I just do what I feel like I should be doing.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly the difference.
Yeah.
Is that it's not, if I sell this program, will I make money? Or if I do this, will I make money?
Right.
It's a totally different perspective because I just know the money will come in and it just does.
Yeah.
And
when you're following the truth within you and you're aligned and you're on your path, it does just come.
Yes, it does. And so do the opportunities to the point where, I've shared with my group, it's a horrible thing to have to be like, okay, I have these two opportunities and they're both so good that I can't actually choose. And then of course, even within that, that's false. So that was an interesting opportunity.
And I just want to say too, I want to give you guys hope who needs to hear this. You never know when the scale is going to tip and your life will change.
True that.
So for me personally, I don't really want to share this either, but I have to. So my husband and I met 12 years ago, and it was literally hell for us. We had so much stuff to clear, basically from day 2. There was no honeymoon period. And we kept seeing this life, and it wasn't manifesting yet, and it wasn't manifesting yet. 10 years straight, every day, we cleared and cleared and cleared and cleared and cleared. And what do we need to do to make this happen? What do we need to do that? And we would get the information of what we need to do, and we do it. And for us, where we're living right now, Jackson, Wyoming, had been calling us, and it wasn't happening, and it wasn't happening, and it wasn't happening. This is 4 years ago. And it finally happened. The scale finally tipped. And when it did, this was 2.5 years ago. When it did tip, my whole life changed. And it was building up and building up and building up. All that freaking work I did constantly. It was literally like hell. Finally, the fruits are finally coming out on their own now because I kept at it and kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. But I never knew. There were times where I'm like, oh my God, I cannot take this anymore. It's done. I'm over. I'm out. And same thing for him. We're like, we're out. We can't take it. But our hearts kept saying, stay, just hang on, just hang on. And I'm like, no, no, this is too miserable. I'm leaving. And my heart was right. Not that we didn't have any joy, but it was pretty miserable. And, he'll tell you that too. So, but my point is, we worked and we worked and we worked, and I followed my intuition and I followed my gut and I followed my heart. And finally, things started to change on the outside. Inside, I was already changing, but finally life manifested to match how I felt in my heart. And the one more thing I want to say about that too is in my office in the wintertime, I'm on the second floor and the snow slowly melts off the roof. And it curls under like this. And I'm watching it in front of me and it's curling under, like it's just curled. And I'm like, that snow is moving 24/7 and melting, and any second that the whole thing's just going to fall off, and I just never know when it's going to. And it's always a reminder for me of my own life. Like one day the snow fell off, and yet I was pushing and pushing and pushing for 10 years straight, and finally it fell. But I couldn't control the when. I just knew I was on the right path, even though I didn't want to. I wanted to leave, and I wanted to end it, and I wanted to all kinds of things. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know, follow your heart, stay with it. We just don't know the when. But when you just know it and it feels true, just do it no matter what. Stay with it, trust it. It's the truth, it's your guidance. All right, Shelly, I guess we should probably
I muted her already.
How are you feeling?
I muted her. Okay, so can we move to Shelly, write into us how you're feeling so we can read it if you don't mind, sweetie. All right, because we want to get to another person.
Yeah.
Let's go to Jean. Let's see if I can get Jean Captain. Can you unmute yourself, please? Jean, go ahead and unmute yourself. If you can't, then I'm gonna move to another person. I know this name. Kimberly Paulson. Where do I know you?
Hi.
Hi, lady.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. Oh, hanging in there. Still on the earth.
Still on the earth.
Oh, someone else is talking too.
Oh, Jean
She
unmuted
did
herself.
unmute herself.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, I'm hoping to get a little hope. Things are, haven't been happening for me really, and I just want to see if there's anything I should know. Ambujam, I've worked with you in the past, and it's always been a divine timing thing going on.
Well, here's what I want to say right now. So when you say what you said, there's this image for me of you're like 80, 90% there of whenever the shift happens that you've been waiting for. But here's the thing, because the election and because of how things are gonna unfold, your move is connected to that. And so there's like your life like this, and like, let's say you started way back here. If you could, yeah, you can see that. So you started way back here. And now you're like here. This is how I see it. And there's just this much to go. And here, and your being, like your consciousness and everything that you're doing is connected to all of this election, presidential stuff. And so like, you're just kind of like, oh my God, hurry up. Like, I can't wait anymore. It's like, you're just feeling like you're going to crawl out of your skin. And so that's, your theme constantly seems to be patience and waiting and waiting and waiting. And if you're not missing anything, it just is timing. It's still timing, but because it's connected to so many other things, it's not just your timing, it's life.
So it's not, I'm doing anything wrong.
No, I would say you're more doing it right, because now when I look at you, when we're talking about this, you're more trusting yourself, even though something hasn't happened yet physically. You're just more trusting and you're just more in. So you're more connected than ever to your truth, to the nothingness, kind of a lot. It's like a vastness. There's just like nothing to do some days, right? And yet you feel like, oh my God, I could just do anything. What is it? Nothing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So you're more aligned than ever. Your life is so connected. Your moving on is so connected to so many other things that are not in your control. And yet everything that you're doing every single day of how you're doing it affects those things, but you can't hurry it either. It's very you know, it's like divine intelligence has got this.
Okay.
So I would just say keep practicing patience and just keep going. Don't stop. Keep doing what you're doing every single day.
Hold the light and sing. When you first got on, I saw you jumping on a trampoline. So go have some fun. Serious.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in a situation like Ambujam is talking about, what we talked about earlier with not focusing on a problem, there's no problem. So if you get a break, let's call this your break, have some fun with your life. Remember how to laugh. Remember what it is to go have coffee with your girlfriend. If you haven't spoken to somebody in
Which I
forever,
don't have.
okay, then there's your fun. Go meet some people. And meetups still work. People are still gathering in small groups. I started a game night for the women in my neighborhood. They're not like me, okay? These women are just normal women like me. We're all moms and such. We all have lots in common. Doesn't always have to be spiritual. And we get together once a month for poker night. No joke. And we have a great time. We drink, we eat, we have fun. We talk about everything, right? And that's it. And consequently, this is the first neighborhood I've lived in 20 years where I know my neighbors. I actually get together with my neighbors. So you could, I mean, I know in our neighborhood, we have like a interweb something, whatever, you know, where we send messages. I don't remember. It's called like Your Neighborhood or something. And just put out there, any women interested in a game night, and host it, you know, limit it to 4 people or something. But do something out of the ordinary to shift your experience, and you'll be surprised.
Well, my problem is I don't have any money and I don't drive and.
Okay. Have fun, however that comes forward for you, sweetie. Get out of that part and ask to be shown what it is. What's going to be fun for me today? Even if it's picking daisies. My son loves to pick flowers, and I'm talking weeds. But it brings him so much joy, and he brings it to me, and you know, it's beautiful, right? Loving, giving heart. So what is it you can do with a loving, giving heart?
And just keep trusting
many ways
that you've got this, you know,
yes.
Even though it hasn't happened yet.
All right. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thanks,
sweetheart.
love.
All right. I cannot believe this, but it's already time to go. So it goes so fast when we're together. We need
Well,
to
on
do
some level, I feel like it's
often.
been like 8 hours too. I'm like, what time is it?
You know what? It's always fun when we get together. I love doing the show with you, Ambujam.
Thank you.
Always.
I love being here too.
Everyone for being here and sharing your love, your power, your grace, your beauty. It is because of all of you that we are able to tap into such awesome energy and have wonderful special guests like Ambujam come and share their gifts and their abilities and their light with us. So thank you, everyone. Go out to ambujamhealing.com to take advantage of her special power group. That's tomorrow. And we will see you live next Thursday for the next SoulScape show. Mwah, everybody.
Can I just do one more thing before we end? So I have to complete with everybody because we've all been, you know, collaborating. So whenever I do work with people, I have to do a completion. So can we just take a minute so I can do that?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. So all our beings are completing now our collaboration for today. Yep. And at the end, Spirit always does a ceremony to complete, and they're going to do that now. So Spirit is going to complete whatever else needs to be completed, release whatever else needs to be released, and support whatever else needs support from here forward. Yep. So they're going to pull me out of your space now, you guys. All righty. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for being with us, allowing me to do my thing. And it's a huge honor, as always.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gabrielle.
All right, everyone. See you again next week. Good night. Have a great week, everyone.